to talk to you about today about rubber bands and how they're important for our health and well-being. I know most of you use rubber bands, right? We use rubber bands to keep things neat, tidy, and in one place. Have you ever wondered why rubber band has this elastic property where we can stretch it and it comes back to its original shape as compared to your string that you have your badge on? It won't stretch it. What is it? We have those molecules in this rubber band, they are coiled and they are joined together. So when you stretch it, those coiled molecules elongate, but as soon as you let it go, they come back to their original shape because that's where they are designed for. In our body, we have a similar protein called elastin that gives the rubber band-like property to our tissues. Our tissues also need to be elastic and firm. So let's make an example. I want to give you everybody in the audience, can you hold your hand, palm facing down, and pull skin on the back of your hand. Hold it for 3 seconds and let it go. What happens? Those younger in the audience will see that their skin, the skin snaps back. But if you are a little bit older, it takes a couple of seconds to go back, right? And those who are very old, they will say, actually, it just stays there. You have to rub it down. So that's the problem we have. We have elastin in our skin, and as we age, elastin in our skin actually goes down. Level of elastin goes down. And you'll say, Narayan, what's the big deal? It's just a cosmetic problem, right? We can live with it. We have this, we get wrinkles, droopy chin, all the part of aging process, right? It's not a life-threatening disease. Why should I bother about it? But it's not really true. Think about somebody cannot make elastin when they're actually born. For example, I want to show you this baby which has a disease called cutis laxa, and her elastin in her skin is not very well developed. So she actually looks older even at this age. And not only skin, there are actually other organs in our body that gives the same problems if you don't have proper elastin in those organs. Now let's do another experiment for all this audience. Again, close your eyes, breathe in, hold your breath for 2-3 seconds and let it go. Let's do one more time. Feeling good? Actually, there was no experiment. I just wanted you guys to relax a little bit. No, it's not like that. Actually, I was just kidding. If you think about carefully, when you breathe out, there was not much effort to take the air out of your nose because our lungs are basically 2 balloons sitting in our chest. When you breathe in, they expand because there is elastin around every air sac. We have 1 million air sacs in the lungs, and they expand. And when you breathe out, they just elastic property of your lung, let it come out. Your air comes out from your nose. Now think about somebody smoking for multiple years, or polluted air gets in your lungs for multiple years. What will happen? What happens is that your elastin in your lungs get chopped up. Their enzymes come in, inflammation happens, and enzyme can actually cause degradation of elastin in the lungs. And your lungs become paper bags. Now think about a lung as a paper bag, and you try to breathe in. You can breathe inside, but because there is no elasticity, air gets trapped inside. And these people need to actually actively breathe out, and that can cause collapse of lungs. And that's a major disease that we have, we call emphysema. Millions of patients suffer today for emphysema because of smoking and other causes. And there is no cure for it. And this is part of elastin damage that we have in lungs. So I showed you lung is one tissue. And think about now the air you just breathed in. That air went to your lungs, it oxygenated your blood, and that blood went to your heart, right? And the heart pumps that blood back to all your organs for nourishment. That's what happens in the body. What takes that blood from your heart to your body? We have in our body pipe systems, right? Pipes are basically arteries, we call them elastic arteries. Those arteries are very elastic. So they have elastin inside, so they pulsate, and they can actually move blood forward. Think about somebody's eating bad eating habits, eating pizzas and burgers every day, fat and cholesterol floating around in the blood. Part of it goes to your arteries, and arteries start getting inflamed. And again, elastin chopped up. Elastin is gone, your arteries are not more elastic, and they can become stiff. So one of the very common disease is called abdominal aortic aneurysms. This is a AAA disease that people get. In the major artery that in your abdomen actually starts get inflamed, and it starts actually degrading elastin inside and bulging out like a balloon. And if it is not found out, or the problem with this is that people don't know if they have it. There's no pain for it. And at one point, it will be so thin that it will just burst out, and it just spill the blood out within few minutes, and person might die. So that's the problem we have for this aneurysm disease. Everybody knows this gentleman in the world? Just raise your hand if you know him. Yes, this is Dr. Albert Einstein. He actually died because of AAA. What a loss for the society, right? But that was in 1955. We have better treatments now. Medical treatments have advanced. We have better imaging techniques. We have better actual diagnosis as well as surgical techniques we have. So we can save thousands of lives today, but still, AAA is the 13th leading cause of death in the United States today because of loss of elastin in your blood, in your arteries. So the problem I want to tell you is bad news. I'm going to give it to bad news, that elastin is one of the proteins that we have in body cannot regenerate. That's the problem we have. Cells that were making elastin when you're younger, as they get older and older, they cannot replicate the same process and they cannot make elastin back. So its kind of loss is irreversible and we can't do anything about it. Now, now I told you how it's important. You must be thinking, is there any way we can do something about this? This is a major problem we have. So that's what we thought about at Clemson University Research in the last 10, 15 years, and thought about, is there a way to actually, first of all, stop degradation of elastin? And then we can hopefully regenerate elastin back from this, from putting something there. So what we started doing is basically using polyphenols. This is about 10, 15 years of research. We found out that polyphenols found in tea and wine, we drink wine and tea, right, all the time. They have antioxidant properties, but they actually have properties to bind to elastin and stop degradation of elastin. And not only that, do that, but they actually go and make cells make more elastin because of that, if they are in the site. So that was a good research, and we found a good discovery for that. We got patents for it, and we wanted to use that. But you cannot just eat or drink wine and think about, okay, these polyphenols will just go to the site and heal you. It doesn't happen that way. We had to really put these polyphenols to the site of elastin degradation. That's the idea, right? So we asked this question, is it possible, some kind of nanorobots you can put in your body, you just inject in your blood, hopefully they go find themselves their way to the elastin degradation site, lodge themselves there and deliver these compounds. That's what we wanted to find out. It looks like a science fiction, right? You can put nanorobots in your body and say, hopefully they go there. But it's not really. Nanotechnology is really advanced in the last 15, 20 years. Now we can actually make particles that are very small, about 200 nanometer in size. That's about 500 times thinner than a sheet of paper. Extremely small particles. They can be loaded with these polyphenols or any other drugs. And we can put antennas on the surface, antennas like sensors. And those sensors will sense, oh, this is where the elastin is damaged. They will go there and deliver the things, like a UPS truck going there and delivering package. So this is what we are trying to do in Clemson. So we wanted to find out, we have these particles, it worked very well in cell cultures. Now we wanted to actually find out if it works in vivo, actual situation. So we created animal models where we created AAA, aneurysm disease I was talking to you about. I created that in rats, and then we found out, first of all, we loaded these particles with fluorescent dye to find out if they can actually, we can track them, and if they go to the site of aneurysm, right? As you can see there, on the right-hand side, treated animals, actually those particles went to the site, and they were lodged. And in the circles, you see those fluorescent dye there? That shows that particles actually go to the aneurysm site. This was exciting. So now we have ways to actually deliver stuff to the aneurysm. Now the next thing we wanted to find out, can we load drugs in them, like polyphenols, and let the aneurysm actually regress, go back. And that's what we did. Actually, we found out, elastin here is shown, which is the black fibers. On the sides, you see control animals have chopped up elastin and fragmented. It looks like a very thin fibers. And look at in the treated animals. Elastin is beautiful. It looks like rubber bands that we have in arteries. And if you look at the bulging of the aorta, we can actually reduce bulging of the aorta by delivering drugs, by injecting these nanorobots or nanoparticles in the blood. And they will go to the site and deliver things. So it was exciting. This we could do it in animals. Now we wanted to take this further in humans, right? That's what think about possibilities, what we can do if we can actually use this technology in humans. Can we stop degradation of elastin in the aneurysm and maybe stop growth of aneurysms in patients? Or maybe we can stop emphysema formations in patients, and that will be a big advancement. Or we can make a 70-year look young again, like a skin young, right? So I want to leave you with this thought: you are as old as your elastin. And I hope therapies will be available tomorrow, or maybe for patients in next 10, 15 years, they will reverse the loss of elastin. Thank you very much.